Shall we start?
Yeah.
Are you good? If at some point in time you fall asleep, what's my code word? Do I
just scream Cincinnati?
Cincinnati? Why Cincinnati?
I don't know.
Okay, so if you hear me scream Cincinnati, that's because a very tired Dylan fell asleep. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Your video is terrible. It's not like it's losing all sorts of frames.
Is it?
Yeah, it's all right. Anyway, welcome to Byte Me Podcast, episode 115. Today there is no Adam and there is also no red light, which is very confusing.
Dylan and I know.
I know.
Walk in on us.
I know, right? Dylan and I are doing this podcast from the comfort of our homes, which is, I believe, the first time in 115 episodes this has happened. So Adam is on his way to California, I think. Palm Springs? Yeah.
Beach? Palm Springs.
He was very disappointed to be going to California, and it's only like 63 in California. He was complaining about it 24/7 for the past 3 days.
My house is warmer than that.
Yeah, mine is
which
too.
If you understood this house, that would mean more, because for whatever reason, the heat does not properly heat this house.
Oh, that sucks.
So you have it turned up to like 74 and it's about 65 downstairs.
That was exactly how my house in Utah was. Is my thermostat was upstairs and my downstairs was always 10 degrees colder. It was terrible.
So our bathroom upstairs is fine, but every other room is colder.
That's funny. I like it. Yeah, it seemed kind of lame for Adam to be complaining about, 63 degree heat when I think most of the Midwest is like negative 75 right now. But
I guess if you're going on vacation, though, you do have expectations.
See,
and those are not being met.
I'm going to Florida next week, and I was really hoping it would be 63. Like 63 is perfect traveling weather. Like it's going to be like 75. I'm like, I guess that'll do.
Is that what Florida's doing right now?
Yeah, about 75.
Which is, I guess, on the cooler side for Florida, maybe.
Oh, geez. Compared to last time, man. Oh, it was so hot. Anywho, do you want to talk about video games?
We could.
All right. Let's see. Does Adam normally talk? So I guess, first of all, I'm Cliff.
I'm the Dylan.
You're the Dylan. Today in news, we have Titanfall devs announcing Apex, and it is available right now. Now. With all the cool Apex news, there is one disappointment. So we'll get to that. Anthem will not launch with guilds, but they really do want to get you to play co-op. So there's some incentives. We'll say incentives. 10 million people watched a concert in Fortnite, which I don't even understand.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't either. And I don't know. We'll talk about that too, I guess. Hopefully you've heard of the artist, because I certainly have not.
I've heard of it.
Close enough. Do you think Marshmallow and who's the Mickey Mouse one?
Marshmallow Mouse?
No. So there's Marshmallow. He was the artist in Fortnite, and then there's the Dead Mouse. Do you think
okay.
Do you set a trap with Marshmallow to catch a dead mouse? Like
you could.
And then also, this is a little bit non-topical anymore, but Groundhog Day is getting a sequel. And that's Dylan is holding up the cutest cat I've ever seen.
Oh, she had enough.
Her eyes are gorgeous.
Yeah, she's pretty, but she's very antisocial.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm pretty antisocial
and
too.
She's feeling a little lonely right now, but
yeah, I can imagine. If someone just like picked me up and shoved me in front of a camera, I think I would feel a little antisocial too, to be honest.
I'm trying to get her to let's see if she can be a little friendlier. Like, it's not so bad out in the big world out here.
What you're trying to do actually is you want to start a live streaming show with your cat.
Yeah.
Make your cat a superstar.
I actually was literally thinking that on the way home. I wanted to do a podcast.
I love it.
I don't know what it is yet, but
you've got to start somewhere. That's the important thing. Okay.
But yes, you do catch a dead mouse with a marshmallow.
See, it's good. It's a good joke, right? Yeah.
You could. I think a Skrillex falls in there somewhere, but I don't know.
Have I ever told you my Skrillex story?
I don't know. Maybe.
So like I'm not hip with the music that the cool kids listen to these days in any way, and that's okay. But I was looking at the Grammy nominations. This is probably 6 or 7 years ago, and they're like, Skrillex is nominated for Best Artist. I'm like, what's a Skrillex? Like, I've never heard of this. And so I like booted up Spotify, and I'm like, I don't know anything about this guy, so I'll just listen to his most popular song. And it sounds like, I don't know, like an old modem starting up. And I'm like, well, like maybe I just have to wait. Like maybe it's going to get better. Maybe they'll like drop the bass and this song will like turn into something else. And it didn't.
That didn't happen.
It didn't. Either way, dubstep's not my thing. So whatever.
But Groundhog Day is getting a sequel. That is what you said as I raised the cat.
Yes. Groundhog Day is getting a sequel. Sorta.
Is that, what's that Tom Cruise movie that's essentially Groundhog's Day?
It is not that sequel. It is directly
and then there's
tied.
that horror movie that's essentially the same thing where the person dies over and over.
Well, and there's apparently one on Netflix right now called Russian Doll, I think. Dolls.
Is that also that concept?
Also, yeah, that concept. So, yeah, it is none of those things. This is directly related to a groundhog in Puxatawny, Pennsylvania. You'll love it. You'll absolutely, I promise you love it. Did you play any video games this week?
I second-handedly played Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm not actively the one playing it, but I am observing.
What do you think so far?
Not being, you're obviously going to know a lot more than I do, but as someone not really having played previous Kingdom Hearts, the game is spectacular looking.
Yeah. Do you think?
That's for sure. Yeah, it looks good. I mean,
because like I think that they're like when they do the like cool like theme park ride like special attacks, like those are amazing looking. Yeah. I mean, I think the environments are amazing looking, and I think the primary characters are amazing
Most
looking.
Of the characters look good. Yeah, I'm sure there's things like hidden in there that don't. But I even looked at Hercules, like you said, and I don't think I noticed it as much as you did. It didn't look as good as Mickey, for sure. That's like no doubt about it. But I mean, the game does look pretty, having not really controlled it, but it is kind of strange because it looks like a game from like the PlayStation 2 era, which is interesting to say that. But I think there was a time when you had certain action RPGs that kind of played that way. And I don't think you see a lot of those kind of games anymore.
And I think that's because they just decided there was a better way to do it.
And I think that's just just first or third person RPGs. Like the hybrid with kind of like a JRPG style kind of sort through your items and use them. Like there's just an easier way to do that now. Yeah. So I don't know, having not being the person that played it, I don't know if it really feels bad or anything.
It feels absolutely fine.
Yeah. And I imagine it does. It doesn't look like it's that. For example, like if I played like the old Resident Evil games, I'm like, why can't I walk and shoot? Like that is a big hang up that says I can't play this game anymore. Yeah. This doesn't look that way at all. So
yeah, no, it's fine. I've not played it since launch day, honestly. I've just been doing other things, and I am playing it with my wife, so we've got to find time where we can play it together, which has been a little hard the last couple of days. And I was sick, man. God, I was sick for so many days. I actually listened to our last podcast, just the first of it, because I was doing some stuff with that. I'm like, I sound terrible.
I sound
terrible. So hopefully I sound better today. But yeah, no, Kingdom Hearts fun. I think as much as you probably should be able to compare it to modern games, I like almost think you can't, because it's a game from another time. It's just a game from another time.
I also think it's just a different game. Like it falls in its own bucket.
Yeah,
it's almost games. It's almost like going to Disneyland. It's its own thing. Like you're in this cool world. Like going to Toyland, for example, was awesome. Like that, it was just like, it was exciting. Just watching and seeing the world and all the interactions, the story. I don't even know what it is.
So I really thought I knew the Kingdom Hearts story. Like, I played the first game, played most of the second game, like felt like I was pretty up to speed. And so I started listening to another video game podcast called Waypoints or Waypoint. And they decided they're going to do a Kingdom Hearts spoiler cast. Or a Kingdom Hearts catch-up cast, like get everyone on the same page about
up
Kingdom
to
Hearts.
Speed.
And then they're going to play Kingdom Hearts 3. And so, they started out like it's going to be a single episode. We're going to everyone with speed. And they spent like an hour and a half on the first game, and they're doing chronologically. And Kingdom Hearts 1 is not the first game chronologically. Like Birth by Sleep or the 365 one is actually the first one. They're talking about characters like outside of like Sora and Donald and Goofy and Riku. I'm like, I don't know who any of these people are. They're talking about 30 characters that I've literally never heard of. So
yeah,
I guess we'll see. It,
I noticed an axe on your wall that I have not noticed before.
It is not a real axe. It is a prop for Halloween from 3 years ago. So
okay.
I used to have a guitar hanging there, but then I lent my guitar to my dad. And then we moved a shelf under it. Now I have my guitar back and it doesn't fit there anymore because it's too tall. So I have an axe there.
It's like, that's interesting.
Yeah, my room's kind of a conundrum behind me. I'll
it's
admit.
Clean. That's
it is not.
That's a good sign.
It's so cluttered.
Or the axe.
Oh, the axe is clean. Yeah, the room is cluttered.
There's no
blood on it.
red juice on it. So.
Yeah, no, I went as Halloween as a lumberjack, probably the October before you started.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I remember. I've seen the pictures.
It was good. So is that all you've been playing
pretty much,
via proxy?
Since that's taken over my Xbox. So,
that's why you need the second Xbox.
Right.
Yeah.
But then I'm relegated to upstairs.
Oh, and can't have that.
Yeah.
It's good. Play some games with your wife. That's the way to do it. So let's see. I played Hellblade, but we're going to do a spoiler cast on that. Actually, Adam did not finish the game, so I guess we're going to do a Hellblade spoiler cast without him. You didn't finish it, right?
No, I don't. Yeah, I just don't think I'm gonna be able to play it unless I might be snowed in this weekend.
There you go. So yeah, we you should play it regardless because that game is crazy, like absolutely crazy. It's really fun. But so we'll talk about the pluses and minuses of Hellblade. Probably record it this weekend and release it this weekend to patrons, and then everyone else will get it next week. One game I did play though is Strange Brigade, which is a games with gold game, I think, as of last month. I think we talked about it the first month we did like the games coming out this month podcast. It seems like it was one of those games. And even at the time, I don't think I really understood what it was. Watching videos about it, watching the trailer for it does not give you a very good idea of what that game is. And what it is a very like Indiana Jones style romp through ancient civilizations, collecting things while being attacked by just a crap ton of zombies. There's zombies everywhere. But the funny thing about it is it's narrated by a guy who sounds like an old-timey newsreel reporter. Like, so you've been to Disneyland, right? And ridden Indiana Jones and the Temple of Forbidden Eye, right?
Yeah.
You know, when you're going into it and you're watching like the newsreel and there's the guy that talks like this and he's telling you all about the Temple of the Forbidden Eye. The entire thing is narrated about it by a guy who talks just like that, and he narrates everything you do. Like if you pause the game, if you don't pause the game and just leave your person standing there, he'll come in, he's like, hey, there's a pause button, right?
That's funny.
It's really funny and it's kind of goofy, and even though it's serious and you're fighting zombies and the zombies are kind of spongy and hard to kill, there's like all these wackadoo traps you can trigger. So you'll trigger almost like the traps that Indiana Jones will get caught in. You'll shoot this thing and all of a sudden all these like blades will fly up and start spinning and lopping off zombie heads, and there's bombs and grenades and what do they call the ones that are like gasoline, Molotov cocktails, and like spike traps that you can trigger to kill the zombies. But you're also there getting, treasure. It's up to 4-player co-op. I played it 2-player co-op with my kid, and it's a lot of fun. Like it's not exactly the game I expected it to be. And I think the game that it is, I actually enjoy a lot more, but I think it kind of slipped under people's radar because it wasn't marketed like the game it was. Like it's silly. It's really silly.
Right.
And just
92% of people like it, according to Google.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's free in Game Pass right now. So, like, download it and grab 3 friends, and it's just silly. And like, I've only played the first. I'm going to say the first level, but it actually took a long time. So it wasn't like, I haven't played the first 15 minutes. I played probably the first hour and a half of it. And so maybe it gets, maybe it gets repetitive, maybe it gets boring, maybe whatever. Yeah. And like I said, the guns are spongy, or the bad guys are spongy. Like they're hard to hit and hard to kill. But that also makes me think that it would be a lot more fun with 4 players. So you could just, be really unloading on them.
Rebellion made this?
Sure.
I've been a fan of Rebellion games, that's for sure.
What else have they made, Like, 'cause, I mean, this is...
It was... What's that game called? With the blue guy? This is great radio. Is it Rogue Warrior? No, not Rogue Warrior. It's Rogue Trooper? Rogue...
I've got super type, like... clicky.
Rogue Trooper, I believe.
I don't think I'm familiar with it.
It was on the Xbox.
Oh, they made the original.
Era.
Oh, this is super funny because I was telling my brother that it felt a ton like Zombie Army Trilogy if Zombie Army Trilogy was like had a better plot and was funnier. And they also made Zombie Army Trilogy. So they make the Sniper Elite series. Yeah. Rogue Trooper Redux. They made the old Battlezone games. Yeah, these guys have got a pretty good...
They've always made solid games and nothing like A tier game wise, but they've all been fun, enjoyable games.
Maybe Alien versus Predator. Yeah, no, it feels a lot like Zombie Army Trilogy, which is a game that was dumb but still super fun. So, and this has a better story, has the kind of fun graphics on top of that. So
they just kind of made the game better.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense knowing that Zombie Army Trilogy like heritage. So so Strange Brigade is one that if you have games with gold, check it out. I think it's actually pretty cheap on Steam too.
Was it a Games with Gold or Game Pass?
I'm sorry, Game Pass. I apologize. Yeah.
Was it a straight to Game Pass game? No. Was it one of those games, or is just a game that's popped up on there?
Yeah, it came out. I'm going to say and this is very guessy, but I'm going to say it came out in August, maybe. Okay. It's recent, but I want to say 6 months ago, and it just hit Game Pass. I think the end of last month. So, yeah, worth a check out. The next one I played actually is a Games with Gold game. It's actually this month. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, which is that. So I didn't really exactly. I think last time we're it's that Castlevania game, and what I realized is this is actually. So the people that are making that new Castlevania game kickstarted it. And one of the Kickstarter rewards is they released Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, which is an hour and a half, short Castlevania game. And I'm there's 9 levels and I've gotten 6 of the 9 levels done. And I'm having a really, 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 really hard time convincing myself to beat the last 3, even though I know it's only 45 minutes worth of game.
Right.
Sometimes you'll play a game and go oh yeah, this is just how I remember Castlevania. And then you go was that good? It's fine. It's if you're really hurting for an old school Castlevania game, you could do a lot worse than this. But at the end of the day, it's just not a ton of fun. You kind of roll through the levels and then you fight a bad guy, and then you roll through more levels and you fight an end guy, and you roll through, some more levels and fight an end guy. There's some hidden areas. I think it's modeled after the first Castlevania, so there's no real, Metroidvania. There's no real map. You can kind of, I think there are multiple ways you can work through it. And I think if you play it, it's one of those games that they really want you to play 3 or 4 times with different characters, and with all the characters unlocked, you can unlock harder difficulties and that kind of stuff. So it's an hour and a half game that you can play, say 3 or 4 times if you really want to play the same game a bunch of different times with a bunch of different difficulty. But it's fine. It's free games with gold this month. And it's like, an hour and a half, 2 hours if you really are dying for some Castlevania. But I don't know. I'm not sure it's really my jam. So we'll see. I might finish it just because I want to finish it, and I'm trying to not finish games. But yeah, we'll see. All right. So before we get into news, we should talk about our wonderful and lovely patrons. You can, support us at patreon.com/ByteMePodcast. We have tiers $1, $3, $7, and $10. $10 gets you listed in our game. Wait, we don't have a game. Gets you listed in our podcast about games that we're doing right now.
Gamecast.
Catcast? Podcast?
Gamecats.
Anyway,
Gamecat.
But I think Gamecast is a comic. Anyway, if you would like us to read your name, you can give us $10. We'll love you forever. If you'd like to give us $1, you can listen to all our podcasts early, and we'll still love you. That's the crazy thing. All tiers get an equal amount of love. Did you know that? We have to love all of these people equally. It's like
love?
Yeah, it's like siblings. Like, you might know clearly who your favorite kid is, but you never tell him. And that's how Patreon works. Is we may have someone we love more than others, but so
you secretly love one person more than the rest.
Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But I tell all of them I love them equally. So anywho, our fabulous patrons are Alan Schulte, who we've been talking about a lot about Hellblade. He's a Hellblade guy, and I've had a really good time talking with him about Hellblade as I've beaten that. Austin Palmer, Jack Irish, who I think it was Colby the other day, my brother, that posted, everyone knows that that the spiders in Australia will kill you, and the snakes in Australia will kill you. My brother posted the trees also will kill you. So look out, Jack.
I don't even know what that means.
Literally, they talked about these. They have these trees that have like poisonous barbs on them, and they describe the pain of getting barbed by one as a mix of being electrocuted while someone drips battery acid on you.
That's terrible.
It's terrible.
Get rid of those.
And it lasts for days.
What do you think the purpose of those are in our ecosystems?
I really don't. I mean, to make
do those fall into mosquito territory?
I think it might be just like, I don't want to get cut down. And so I developed a defense mechanism that will guarantee I will never be cut down. They're horrifying. Like, go to our Discord and search for probably Australian trees. You'll find it. It's scary. It's super scary. Anyway, Jack, be careful. Jacob Frank, who has been a little bit in the Discord lately too. I think he's finishing up with the Police Academy. It's good to have him back. Joe Cole Jr., as always, one of our big supporters. Kevin Schold, I play video games with him every Saturday. Good people. Tom McDermott, who again has been in the Discord a lot lately. It's been great talking with him. And of course, our good friend Vinny Champa. Vinny. Anyway. The thing is, I actually know, but it's more fun not to know. Right. Anywho, thank you so much for supporting us. We obviously very, very, very much appreciate it. All right, Dylan, it is time
for news.
Shoot, am I supposed to say 4? Does Adam say 4? I hate to screw that up.
I don't think so.
Okay, good. Yes.
That was my lead in today.
It was good, man. It was really good.
The tease just a little
longer. I like it a lot. All right. So first up, there is a new battle royale game on the scene. Have you watched any gameplay of this yet?
I did. I took a kind of a quick look at some of like the teaser and the announcement trailer, release trailer, I guess, because it was just out.
Yeah.
So I did watch a little bit, and it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's cool. It's called Apex Legends. It is made by Respawn Entertainment. Sorry, not Remedy. Respawn, the folks who made Titanfall 1 and Titanfall 2. It is a battle royale game, but it is only 60 player, I believe. It is. As I understand, it is only co-op. Like, you have to play in squads. And I think
that's what it sounded like. I wasn't sure, but it seemed like it was completely meant to be a squad game, which I like.
And I think it's squads of 3, which is interesting. So it's 20 teams of 3 is my understanding. Like I said, I have not played it yet. I really want to. I just haven't had time. The problem is too, is I really don't want to play a squad based battle royale game like with randos, especially the first couple times I play it. So I just haven't been able to hook up with anyone yet. But came out on PC, came out on Xbox, came out on PS4. It was literally they started it leaked a little bit over the weekend that, hey, Respawn's going to be talking about something on Monday. Everyone kind of thought it was a new Titanfall game. It ended up being, I think it's set in the Titanfall universe, but there are no Titans in it.
It's in that universe, but
like, to me, it looked like, and I think you kind of thought the same thing, is almost like a mix between Fortnite and PUBG, like not as serious as PUBG, but not as goofy,
not quite
as
survivally. Yeah, but not the quirkiness of Fortnite, which I think is probably going to be advantageous because it kind of meets somewhere in the middle. And I don't know how the Black Ops Battle Royale ended up doing. Like, I played a little bit of the beta, and it was a solid game, but it kind of has that look too, where it's a legitimate first person shooter type game.
It looked cool though. I mean, like I watched a dude play it for about an hour. I think what differentiates it too is that it is class based, so kind of more, I don't want to say Overwatchy because that probably overstates it, but there are different characters that have different abilities and have different strongnesses and weaknesses that look completely different. I think I want to say 8, but again, I'm just kind of like,
I think that was right.
Yeah, I think there's 8. You can actually like res your squad mate, so if someone get knocked down, you can actually like heal them and bring them back to life, which is kind of fun. I think you can do that in Fortnite, correct? Like,
you can do that, yeah.
So just
have a timer.
It adds something a little bit different. Currently it does not have crossplay or cross progression, but they've said that it's something they're very interested in. I think are planning on adding it as soon as they can. Like, they're kind of at the hands of PlayStation on that, who are kind of rolling that out slowly. But they want to. They're saying that they will add crossplay. They will not add cross progression, which is a bummer. But I'd rather have, if I have to pick, I'd rather have crossplay than cross progression. So, but it also appears to be real popular. It passed the 1 million player mark 8 hours in. So
that's a good start.
Yeah, it's doing pretty well. I would, it's 100% free. All you have to do is get the the Origin client
Origins,
on the PC, and it's just available flat out available on the Xbox and the PlayStation 4. You do need gold to play it on the Xbox, but you do not need PS Plus to play it on the PlayStation. So yeah, you can play it kind of anywhere you want, which is cool. I like to see a little more competition, I think, in that space, and I think it's going to be someone like, essentially EA that's going to be able to put the money behind it to, I don't have any urge in seeing something kill Fortnite. Like, I think Fortnite is fine. I love it being successful. I love what Fortnite being successful has brought to gaming. Like, I think it's widened it into a bigger audience, blah, 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 blah. But, anytime you have some more options in a space, it's always good.
I think there's probably a group of players, I myself included, that really enjoy Fortnite, but at some point do want something different.
Yeah.
But they want I want a experience that rivals that on that level, because Fortnite does run and play very well.
Yep.
So unless something else plays that well and has that obvious production behind it, it's hard to infiltrate that space.
Yeah.
So
this game just looks cool too. You know what I mean? Like, the characters look cool. The models look cool. It kind of
has a Borderlands vibe too.
I 100% agree with that. Like, I think that's probably one of my biggest complaints about both PUBG and Fortnite is, unless you're willing to spend a ton of money on skins, their characters are kind of boring. Whereas you play like an Overwatch, and like the Overwatch characters are really cool. Even just with default skins. So it was cool to see a game that, I think you're 100% right. This game really hits a sweet spot for me between those two that I think
in a lot of different ways too.
Yeah, I just got to actually play it now. Like, it looks really cool, and we'll get there. Obviously, the one really disappointing thing about this is everybody had assumed that Respawn was working on Titanfall 3, and they hadn't really denied it. And even like I'm going to say a year or so ago, they'd even said, yeah, it's what we're working on. And then they got bought by EA, and no one really knew what was going to happen. And, but everyone kind of assumed it was happening. And then they launched this game. Apex Legends comes out, and now they've said like they're not working on Titanfall 3, which is disappointing, because Titanfall 2, I never played the multiplayer, which maybe is indicative of something, but the single player was so damn good. And so like to not have another game of that franchise, at least not for a while, is a little disappointing. I mean, it's disappointing too that there were some very cool things in Titanfall 2, like wall running and some stuff like that would have been a cool addition to this that just weren't in it either. So, no Titanfall 3, but who knows? Maybe. I mean, obviously, someone still owns the IP, so we will see. Up next, have you played Anthem yet?
I have not.
Oh, you, sir, are missing out on a absolutely fantastic game. That game is real good.
Yeah. I think my thing is to stay away from betas for the most part, because I'll end up not playing the game.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's just kind of my pattern. So a game that I think I might be interested in, I'm just going to wait for the game, especially when I heard off the bat that it was pretty solid.
It is.
So it's like I can trust that, and I can play it day one or day two and be totally fine that I did not kind of take the butt off the rose or whatever too early. So
my dog was barking. For a minute I thought you said take the butt off the rose. I'm like, I don't know that saying.
I'll put the rose on your butt or something. That hurts.
I actually was planning on not playing it as well, because I hated playing like the first level of Destiny over and over and over and over again once I played in the beta.
Yeah.
But this level is actually just like in the middle of the game. So,
which I think is so smart.
Yeah. And it did make it so it was a little confusing, but I think it'll be all right. But yeah, I played the VIP demo and the regular demo, and it was really good. I really enjoyed both days. And one thing I did want to throw out to people is if you're thinking about getting this game and you're a member of Origin Access or EA Access or Origin, whatever it is on PC.
EA Origins, whatever.
You can save 10% off this game. So like, don't pre-purchase it through Amazon, just buy it through your subscription and you'll save $6. So keep that in mind if you want to save a little bit of money. But the big thing that they're talking about is that, I mean, I think every game in this space has guilds. Destiny had guilds. Destiny 1 had guilds. And this game is launching without them. So there will be no way to like hook up with all of your friends and play in that way, where you have a guild and you're working toward guild goals and so on and so forth. And, they are saying, hey, we're going to add them, but just not yet. So it's coming. But what they have in the meantime is what they call an alliance system. And that includes alliance XP that is earned by other people in your group. So you can apparently kind of add friends like essentially to a list, but there's a short list. It's only like 5 people. And as you earn alliance points, it'll push out to those friends as well. So it's like a guild, but not a guild. And they're still going to add guilds on top of it. So it's a little bit weird. And it seems kind of confusing, but, they're like, yeah, we'll see how it goes. And we'll add that, I guess, when they have time. They don't have any even short-term plans for it. So, I guess that's fine, but I think it's also something that people really like in Destiny. So it's strange to me that they didn't add it, but whatever. It's not a deal killer for me. I don't, do you care?
No,
right. Yeah. It's fine. I think it's probably, I guess the reality is the guilds are generally something that you have to be pretty serious about. I mean, obviously we have like a Destiny guild for Byte Me, and I think people were super serious about it for about a week, and then they realized hey, these Byte Me dudes are losers, and like went and found a game that actually went and found a guild that actually raided. So whatever.
Yeah. I don't think I've actually ever really been a part of a guild that did guild things.
I have, but only in MMOs. Like I was in Star Wars and I was in WoW, but that's about it. So whatever. So speaking of Fortnite, as we were a moment ago, and speaking of marshmallows, as we were like a half hour ago,
I want some more.
I'm a vegetarian, and I did not eat marshmallows for like 10 years, 12 years because they're not vegetarian. And like it's like my one like thing I eat now that has meat byproducts in it, because I just can't not eat marshmallows. They're too good. I love Rice Krispie treats and I love s'mores. So sacrifices had to be made.
I won't tell.
Yeah, thanks. Like, I'm sorry, cows and your hooves, but what do you do? Anyway, so apparently there is a DJ, I guess, dance DJ. Is that right?
Yeah, he DJs dance music.
I guess, yeah.
Kind of, I guess, part of the EDM scene, maybe?
The EDM.
Is that what
the
it
electronic
is?
Dance musics?
Yeah,
we should have, like,
I'm guessing.
We worked for a radio station that probably plays him. We should have asked, or at least someone there would have known.
Yeah,
anyway,
I don't want to ask.
No, I don't either. There's a dude named Marshmallow. It is mellow, though. There's no W. So it's like, I guess he's a chill swamp, I guess. I don't know. And they had a big concert in Fortnite over the weekend, I believe. It was a 10-minute show. They turned off all damage during the game, so people could just like emote and dance for 10 minutes while Marshmallow played. And there was fireworks and like a light display and holograms and all sorts of other insanity. But apparently more than 10 million people watched the concert in the game. It went to every single Fortnite server. So everybody playing Fortnite at that time could go on it. And then they live streamed it.
Isn't that crazy?
It's absolutely insane. But then they kept replaying it. But then when the concert ended, there's like a 3-second countdown and then people just murdered each other. Like, I don't understand it all. Like there are very few things that make me feel like old and out of touch, but like having some sort of dance concert party inside of a video game, like a video game that I don't play by an artist I've really never heard of, is like peak man Cliff, you're old.
Right. I have a few things. One, this has got to be one of the biggest concerts ever,
right?
Of all time.
Yeah.
10 million people, right? Like that's already a record. Also, this is just super cool, though, that a game can do something like this.
100%. Like, I don't understand it, but I think it's awesome.
Get it at all. I kind of wish I would have known maybe more ahead of time. I mean, not that I probably wouldn't have really. It might have been cool to log in and like go see that, just to experience that in a game.
It would have been cool just because like I would have liked to be able to talk about, like I would have liked to be able to say like, I didn't know who Marshmallow was, but I listened to his music for 10 minutes and now I definitively don't like it, but it was cool. Yeah.
But this is super cool. And I don't know, this is kind of another way that you can just push boundaries of like, what can you do in this space with like connectedness of different players and being able to, like, this is like the future of like random encounters in video games, right? Like
I'm hacking through the forest and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, why is Marshmallow giving a concert here? This is weird.
Exactly. Like it's just kind of, it's pretty cool, really.
I think the thing that is amazing to me is that, I mean, I guess, first of all, I would love to know how much, like, what do you pay someone to do a concert in your video game? Like,
I know, it's so weird.
But the crazy,
I mean, that audience is huge, though,
right? I mean, like, is it a penny for every person that's there, or is it like $1? Does this dude make $10 million for? Right? I don't know. But what's amazing to me is not just that they did it, but like that it's possible and that it went off by all accounts, like without a hitch. Like, what are the odds you do? Right. I think it's one of the things that Fortnite is incredibly good at is making weird things happen and then actually like following through on that. Yeah. Like we made a giant cube roll across the entire thing and then it landed in water and then turned into a giant trampoline. And that worked without any problems, I mean, what was it? Assassin's Creed Odyssey that for like 4 weeks couldn't get their, like world events to even fire. And these guys held a concert inside of a, battle royale
inside of a video game.
It doesn't even make sense, but like more power to them. Like I did not watch it. I guess there's actually a video right here. I could.
Yeah, I'll probably take a look at it.
It looks really cool. It looks really cool.
I don't even. The
music's not terrible either. Wild. Like I could listen to this. I don't know, man. I just think it's neat. I think it's real neat. So anyway,
you heard it here first. Cliff is a Marshmallow fan.
Like we did here. We talked about that. I like s'mores and I like Rice Krispie treats. Like it's all good. All right. So to round up news, you've seen Groundhog Day, right, Dylan?
Yeah, not for a long time, but yeah.
See, and like I watch it religiously. I mean, I'll watch it other times of year too because it's one of my very favorite movies. Every February 2nd, I have watched this movie for probably the last, I'm going to say at least 10 or 15 years. It's one of my favorite movies. And it always kind of has been, but it also, it oddly enough turns out that it was filmed in a city right next to where my grandparents used to live. And so like every time I went to visit my grandparents, we're like, let's go to Woodstock. And it was filmed in Illinois. And you'd go to Woodstock and the city is literally just the city from Groundhog Day. Like you can see the pavilion where they dance and you can see the diner that they ate at. And there's like a plaque in the thing in the sidewalk that says like, this is the step that Bill Murray stepped into a giant hole full of ice water every day. It's really cool. So like I said, one of my favorite films, one of my, just very something I watch all the time. And I 100% watched it on February 2nd this year too. It's great. I upgraded. This is the third time I bought it. I originally had it on DVD. I upgraded to Blu-ray, and this year I bought it off Amazon so I can just stream it. Because that's what I do. Anyway, on February 2nd as well, they announced that they're making the long-awaited sequel 26 years later, I guess. No, that can be right. It's set 26 years after the film. I apologize. So I think this movie was like probably in the mid 90s, probably. So it's probably more like 25. Man, it could be actually 26 years.
It actually is 96 years.
Man, that movie came out when I was 16.
I was 1.
Wow, you weren't even born yet.
I was actually like my first birthday had just passed.
That's amazing. Anyway, so I guess this is actually set in real time, and it's a VR game being made by Tequila Works, the folks that made Rhyme. And you play as Bill Murray's son. And you actually live in Puxatawny, Pennsylvania, and you are forced to repeat the same day over and over and over again. And you actually know that this happened to your dad, but like you hate living there. You hate living in this stupid small town. It looks okay. I'm not going to pass judgment on a game that has not been released yet. It's
such an interesting idea, though.
Right? I love the idea, and I love that. I mean, where's the money for this coming from, though? Like, who thought, a movie that came out 20-something years ago, 26 years ago, and like, I mean, yeah, it's definitely got a cult status. People love that movie, but who thought, like, yeah, we can make a VR game for that now, VR that has a penetration rate of like 0.6%, like a million people on this are like, yeah, let's make a VR game about Groundhog Day for those people. It's goofy and it looks, like I said, okay. I will 100% play it when it comes out. I guarantee you. I love that movie so much, but man, how weird.
It really seems like a perfect fit for VR. This sounds like it could be a very interesting experience. Whether or not, I don't know how good the game is, but I think being able to experience that idea of reliving a day in VR can really get you into what that felt like to be those characters.
That's fair. Yeah.
I think it will be interesting.
That's exactly. And the reality is I loved Rhyme, so maybe Tequila Works can pull off something cool. We will see. And it's coming out later this year. So PSVR, Oculus, and Vive. So if you have VR anywhere, you can play it. All right. Next up, we have questions. We got not a lot of questions, but I think we got these questions. I'm really happy with, actually.
These are pretty solid questions.
Really like these questions. So we've got a question from Deplorable 480. Turned down for what? Joe Coleslaw, and of course, as always,
hey, yo, Vinny.
Hey, yo.
What's the matter, you?
The Vinster. So the other day,
you know where Vinny goes to college?
I mean, yes, but I'm sure this is a joke, actually.
What's the matter, you?
That's terrible. That's really bad. So the other day, in our Discord, someone posted Joe Pesci like singing My Cousin Vinny song. And it was the worst thing I've ever seen. So you should join our Discord, bytemepodcast.com/Discord, so you get those kinds of experiences. But if you weren't there, you should go look up Joe Pesci singing some weird song from, I don't think it was actually from My Cousin Vinny. It was about My Cousin Vinny, maybe. It was bad. It was real bad.
Does he have a cousin, Vinny? Vinny Pesci?
Yes, I believe so. My Cousin Vinny Pesci. I think that's how it works. Anyway, Vinny's question is, what game... Oh man, I read that very wrong for a minute. What's a game? I really I almost read it as what game where you
could rotate some of those words.
And I'm like, well, that's not right. What's a game you were convinced that you would absolutely be in love with and then you weren't? You got one?
I'm sure there's a few, but I think Agents of Mayhem is one that comes to mind.
100%.
I was super excited for, and it just, honestly, that game came down to some bugginess that ruined it for me. I think because I wasn't able to I do have a feeling if I was able to play that game and not spend 3 hours trying to get around a bug, and I played 3 hours farther into the game, I might have enjoyed it and not think so negatively about it. Not that I would have thought it was a 9 out of 10, but it might have been a 7 out of 10 instead of I can't rate it because I didn't play it.
As someone who played Agents of Mayhem without encountering any bugs, I'm not sure you're right. That game was just boring. It was so boring.
Yeah.
Let's see, a game that I was convinced that I'd be in love with and then weren't. I'm pretty selective about the games that I play. And so I very rarely think like, oh my God, I'm going to love this so much, and then don't, because I don't play games that I'm not pretty sure I'm going to be in love with.
Right.
If that makes
sense.
Kind
of my thing too. And nor do I play them enough to find out that I'm truly not in love with it. I'm just like, not going to play this.
Yeah.
Go put something else. So
I do know that I thought I was going to like Shadow of the Colossus a lot more than I did, just because that game was so like legendary, right? Like that game, people talked about like it was just this,
right?
This big whatever. And I went into that thinking like, hey man, everybody loves this game, and I thought it was just dull, so boring. Like I did not finish it. Spider-Man was kind of that game for me too. I was initially very like, I don't know if I'm going to like this, but then the more I saw it, I was like, no, I actually really might like this. And ultimately very much did not. But I don't know if that was one I thought I was going to love. It was one that I thought I might enjoy and didn't. So there's that.
Right.
Those are the big two that come to mind. I'm sure there are more, but Shadow of Colossus might be the one for me, because I just really... I had a lot of high hopes for that game, and it did not meet any of them, unfortunately. So,
I think I would, as much as I hate to say it, I really, really loved Batman Arkham Asylum, but the second one was great too, Arkham City.
Yeah.
But then by the time I played the third one, I didn't quite feel the same way, and I still haven't been able to finish it. And there's something I really loved about the first game was the map was small enough that I became very intimate with it and knew it very well. But the bigger and bigger they made the map, I felt I felt less about it. It grew in a way that I felt like I couldn't contain it all within my mind and really wrap my head around it. And I think that's kind of the main reason I didn't love that the way I expected to.
Yeah.
Because I love those games and I love parts of that game, but I think just the sheer size of the map and it kind of almost felt convoluted at some point. But the first one is one of my favorite games of all time.
Interesting. So I've not played any of those games. I should. I think two of them, I think we might actually be talking about that in a minute. I think a couple of those hit Game Pass this month, to be honest. Next up, we have Joe Coleslaw. He says, could you see a game featuring the Illumination animation IP like the Kingdom Hearts series does with Disney? What developer would you pair it with, and who would the focus be on? Do you think that the Minions or the folks from Sing or Despicable Me, Secret Life of Pets, How to Train Your Dragon, which do you think would be the best additions to a game with, some other game? What do you think about that?
I think that's a hilarious idea. And I love Illumination. Those movies look good. And I think that's why I enjoy them a lot. And most all of these movies named here. Yeah. I really enjoy. Sorry, I have like a minor bout of hiccups right now. But I would love to see something of this nature done with Minions because I love Minions and I think that's hilarious.
I had a hard time with this question. Like the thing about the Illumination movies is I love those movies like once. Like I've seen all of them once. And that's usually enough. Except for the How to Train Your Dragon series. I love that. I love all those movies so much. I've seen a bunch of them a bunch of times. Good, yeah. I also really like the, I don't think he put it on here. They make the vampire ones too, right?
Transylvania?
Yeah, Transylvania? Is that them?
I'm not sure, honestly.
Maybe not. Anyways, How to Train Your Dragon, I'm a big fan of that. I think what makes this question hard for me is that with Mickey Mouse and Goofy and all of those characters, you've seen them be in so many different kinds of media over, I don't know, 80 years. And so like I can picture Mickey Mouse in a ton of different things because he's not just Mickey Mouse. Like he's been in so many different, he's been in funny things. Right. He's been in,
he transcends
himself and his genre, Mickey Mouse, right? And almost everybody, all their other characters do. So I can see Mickey Mouse being in Kingdom Hearts just because, like, why not? He's been the Sorcerer's Apprentice. He's been a character in A Christmas Carol. He's been in right. So many places that I'm like, of course he can.
He's like his own actor. He's acted in other movies.
Essentially, right? Yeah, he just slots anywhere, and so that makes it a little harder. The one that occurred to me is I would really like to mix How to Train Your Dragon with Diablo. Like it seems like they're.
Yeah, there could be something interesting there.
They're both kind of, like Diablo is darker than How to Train Your Dragon.
Maybe Torchlight.
Or Torchlight is probably actually a better, that is 100% right. Torchlight is a better fit for that. But I like the idea.
Yeah, I like that idea.
They're both kind of dungeon crawlery, which makes you wonder how you'd get a dragon into that. But maybe...
you have a pet dragon and he follows you around like a little familiar and
it could be that
breathes fire on stuff or whatever.
Or maybe it's like your dragon helps you get between levels of the underground stuff. Like you have to leave him to go underground. But I don't know. I thought that might be kind of fun.
That's fun.
Speaking with Minions, so what game could you put Minions in?
Yeah. Well, that when I think of Minions, it reminds me of Mario versus Rabbids.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Just because like it's such an unlikely mashup, but they made a great game. Like it's a super fun, weird game. I mean, like Kingdom Hearts, like you mashed up two things that really don't belong together, but it's fun and awesome. And
so are we just
I think Minions could do something.
Are we just going to add them into that? Is it Mario plus Rabbids plus Minions?
Yeah,
that can make sense. I think it makes a lot of sense. I love the Minions movies too. They're fun. Like I said, they're not something I want to see a million times, but I loved just that standalone Minion movie, the one that had like almost no dialogue.
Oh,
I thought awesome. The movie was great. All right. So next up, Turn Down for What? He says, if any of you could be made into a game, what would it be? And what would its name be? And I said, he asked that question. I'm like, what? Cliff : the game? He's like, yeah, if that's what you think your game's going to be.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm exciting enough to be a video game.
Right. I'd like to be in like a mystery survival horror game. I think like if my world got turned upside down by some cosmic horror and I had to explore a creepy mansion and then there was a hole in the basement and then I went to some otherworldly place and found creatures from other dimensions.
Ooh. Like, can you see yourself actually doing that? Like if you were thrust in that situation, is that something that you think you could do?
I guess that's part of the game, right? Like, can you actually do it? That's the question.
Are people going to want to play Cliff the game when it's just like Cliff pulls up to a creepy mansion, gets out, knocks on the door, and then wets himself and runs back to the car?
Yeah.
You're like, man, that game was real short.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I picture myself in a game that tackles some sort of bigger question like that.
I can get behind that.
So like a more philosophical walking sim type experience, trying to find meaning or lack thereof in the universe.
Riven : Dylan : the game.
Yeah.
And let's see. So if I was going to be in a video game, what video game would I be in? I think the problem is I'm not very good at most of the things that you need to be good at video games. Like I can't shoot a gun. Like I can't, that knocks out that entire genre. You've already picked the genre I would probably pick.
I got another good idea. So it's called the Modern RPG. And it's literally like you in your average life, but if you were able to focus on your stats and raise them, so like you could go like do things to raise your charisma, so you could go to work and just get a really cool raise or something. Like, so your the outcomes of your life could really be dictated by your stats. I think that could be kind of fun.
So. Two things. One is I wish I could remember who made it. I want to say it's like a College Humor video where they like modeled that exact thing, and it was like an RPG for guys, and it was like he opens a door for her and like bling gets XP. Right. He like squishes a spider and bling gets gold. But the game that you're actually describing, I actually like wrote a pretty lengthy design document one time to make a like task manager for work where people would assign you, like at our job, we have a task management system that we use and people assign us to-dos and then we do them. And the idea was to make a task management system like that, but every to do was actually like a quest, and you finished your quest, and for that you got XP, and you could put that XP towards different things in your life and get like better like titles within you, so depending on what that XP was and what you were putting it into, you could you choose a character class. Like I'm in the programmer character class, and this person's in the QA character class, and you can
get cool titles like legendary,
exactly,
or maverick. Or
and you could get like I don't know, some sort of weapons or something in the game that'll have goofy names, and you'd use those
amulet.
Exactly. I got
that's a really cool idea.
I got pretty far down the path of actually making this, because I'm like, it'd be cool because you could actually like kind of choose if you wanted to play it or not too. Like on the one side, it could just be like a normal to-do list manager where you put in to-dos, but then if you were playing the game on the other side, it's like this role-playing game.
Like Susie doesn't have to really be involved. Susie can still give Cliff a task, but when Cliff sees this task, it comes up as quest.
Exactly. So I guess if someone wants to steal that idea, I would still play that game. But maybe that's awesome. Maybe that's Cliff the RPG. It's just
the game you can play at work.
It's just a to-do list manager.
It's just work.
Right. But you get XP for it and gold. It makes everything better.
Yeah. It's not any different than a real RPG.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just you're not killing, wyverns.
Yeah.
All right. Deplorable 480. He has a paragraph here that I'm going to try and read. Is there any game that you thought the beta was superior to the full release to the point that you wanted to lay siege to the developer's headquarters and take their firstborn heir hostage, Game of Thrones style, until they brought the beta version back? It says for him, it would be the it would be CD Projekt Red and their awful decision to completely overhaul Gwent. And I can't be alone in this, as they're always catching hell in the forums, and several top streamers has abandoned the game altogether. And I talked to him a little bit about this. I'm like, what did they do? And apparently,
right. I wish I kind of knew.
He said apparently, like, they changed like their entire card design. Like in the beta, they were kind of fun and colorful and cool. And they went like super like brown and gritty and boring for the actual release, and they changed the rules around a bunch. I'm like, that's real weird. But apparently Gwent, the fully released card game, was not nearly as much fun as Gwent the beta. So not great.
Interesting. He's also definitely implying something here that he's about to spark a hostile takeover.
Right? Yeah. if anyone, I don't know where CD Projekt Red's based in Poland, so I guess at least there's like a little bit of a plane trip ahead of time. Maybe we can warn him. Anywho, I don't play a lot of betas, and so I don't think I can answer this question in the exact method in which he wants, but I will tell you that I felt exactly that way about Dylan and I were talking about this the other day. Like, you hear people talking all the time about how they want vanilla Warcraft back and how they want vanilla Warcraft servers, and like, who even knows what that means anymore. And the game that was very meaningful in that standpoint for me was a Star Wars MMO called Star Wars Galaxies. And the cool thing about Star Wars Galaxies is nobody in that game was a Jedi. So it was essentially, you came into a world where you were playing in the same world as the movies were set in, and you were playing the same, races and aliens and whatever that made that game that movie really cool. But there were no Jedis. And it was cool because it just meant that like you were kind of leading that daily life that the millions of people in the Star Wars universe lead every day. Because I mean, even in the movies, what are your odds of living your entire life and never seeing a Jedi? It's huge. There's like 5 of them, right? And then after I've been playing that game for maybe, I'm going to say a year, maybe not that long, 6-9 months, they introduced Jedis in the game. And the problem was they introduced Jedis, and they're like, okay, so the way it works is like anybody can become a Jedi, but you're just born that way. And so certain people will just be Jedis. And so people started rolling all these new characters, trying to figure out what the algorithm behind it was. And it was really dumb. And then they changed it because people complained, and they made Jedis a different way. And then they made Jedis a different way. And they were constantly like nerfing and buffing Jedis to try and make them better. But the reality is once you introduce,
Jedis are supposed to be so far superior to the normal person. There's no way to balance that.
And that was the problem,
while making the Jedi feel cool, right?
And that was the problem is that every guild then needed a Jedi, or else you were going to get your butt kicked by all the other guilds that did have Jedis. And it just started this weird like Jedi arms race that they were never really quite able to figure out. That became kind of the beginning of the end for that game. And I mean, it held on for a while, but the Jedis was what really kind of killed it for me. And when I kind of stopped playing, because it just wasn't interesting anymore. And they really screwed it up. So that was my story. How about you? Have anything, Dylan, that you've done?
This, I think to me, this goes back to PUBG.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, the game was fun in the beta, and upon release, for whatever reason, it could have just been me. I could have been an isolated incident, but the game played like turd.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like the moment it actually released, the performance felt worse. I don't know why. I don't know if it has anything to do with them actually releasing the game, but that was my experience. And from there on, it just was not fun. Like we used to play like every night, and we would play in squads, and we'd get a lot of W's, and it was fun, having a great time, squad combat, battle royale, funness. And then all of a sudden it just
stopped being fun.
Was not fun, and it was full of cheaters, and it just was a different experience almost overnight.
Yeah. I think that's honestly like the danger of betas in general. And I think the problem too is that beta has gotten a really beta does not mean what it used to. Like, you used to get accepted into a beta and it like meant something. It first of all meant that like you were actually
you got to test this game.
Well, and not only did you
play it, and
you were expected to actually do something too. Like, you were supposed to file bug reports. You were playing a game that might be kind of broken, and not just like, hey, there's a beta a week before the game comes out. Haha. It beta now effectively means, hey, if you pre-purchase this game, we're going to let you play it a little bit earlier.
Right.
And I mean, there are some,
see if our servers work, right?
Yeah, there are some exceptions. Like Gwent really, I think, was a beta. Like, that beta went on for a long time. They were trying to, figure out how to, make that game fair and how to do a lot of things. But I think that the reality is betas nowadays are almost early access. Like, early access and beta have almost become the same thing, and then betas have really just become like a pre-order bonus. So they software, video game development at least, has kind of broken what alpha and beta and early access and what those mean, and they don't mean really at all what they used to. So like, getting beta access used to be like a big deal. Like, you had to be very lucky to get beta access. And I just don't think that's true anymore. So,
yeah, I honestly can't think of many games I've played that were significantly different, though, between like a beta and a game, to where I could say that they overhauled it in such a way that I would want them to revert back.
Yeah, and I think now it's just because, like I said, like, either your game is in beta for 3 years, either your ARC
or never leaves,
or never leaves beta. Or it's your beta is just marketing, so whatever. Anywho, you want to talk some cheap free games?
I love cheap free games.
PlayStation Plus. These games are actually free as of now because they didn't release them before our last podcast. They released them the day after our last podcast. So thanks, Sony. That was super helpful. If somehow you do not have a copy of For Honor, which is almost unthinkable to me because I think this game's been released free like 8.7 million times now, in what I assume is an attempt to get somebody playing it.
People to play it. Crossplay, baby.
Yeah, this game needs crossplay real bad. I've heard that it is getting better. It was one of those games that like kind of came out and was big off the top, and then kind of frittered out, and then had some problems with just servers not being full. I've heard it's gotten better, and the servers are more full because they've given away to everyone. It's all PvP. It's you're a big baddie fighting other big baddies, that are actually people in kind of a war setting, as I understand. I've never actually played it. It does not appeal to me. But For Honor is free. The other free PlayStation 4 game is Hitman, the complete first season, which I've heard is a spectacular game. And the cool thing... I love
Hitman.
I've never played it. I have this game too, free like 5 places I should play it. The cool thing is if you're planning on buying Hitman 2, on the PlayStation, you can import all of the levels from Hitman 1 and play those inside of Hitman 2 with all the new graphics and new blah, blah, blah,
which
blah.
Is super cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool idea. So you can double your pleasure for free. Other free games, Dive Kick, which is a PS3 game that is cross-buy with the PS Vita, Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriot, which is a PS3 game, Gunhouse, which is a PS Vita game with cross-buy to the PS4, and Rogue Aces, which is a PS Vita game with cross-buy to the PS4. Now, I believe this is the last month that you're going to be getting PS3 and PS Vita games. So going forward, you will only get PS4 games in PS Plus. So I guess if you're paying monthly and you care about those kind of things, you might want to cancel here, I guess, unless you're actually just buying it so you can play online. But yeah, so PS3 and PS Vita are going away. They also did just raise, this is actually pretty cool. They've raised the amount of storage you get with PS Plus from 10 to 100 gigs, which is really nice. It's actually one of the things that I really wish Xbox would follow suit on. It drives me nuts that I constantly fill up my memory on my storage for Xbox with screenshots and videos, and it fills up super fast, and they don't tell you how big it is, and they don't let you buy more. Like, I would pay monthly to get more Xbox space, and they just don't let you. So it's obnoxious when you're uploading 4K screenshots.
I say poo poo yuck yuck.
That's exactly what I say too. Like I actually sent that to them like in a support request. I'm like poo poo yuck yuck, and they're like, "Sir, what?" And I'm like, "That's
do you know
all."
where poo poo? Do you know where poo poo yuck yuck comes from?
From you, as far as I'm concerned.
So this is a great story. In a script writing class in college, there was some sort of script. I wish I remembered the actual context of the script, but one of the lines as a character saying poo poo yuck yuck.
Wow.
And me and my friend just were like, I know this is an exercise, but you can't write poo poo yuck yuck. Like no one says that.
No.
But now I do.
Now you say it all the time.
Joke's on me.
Yeah,
so
good. All right. Other free games with Twitch Prime, which you get for free if you are a member of Amazon Prime. This month you can actually, this is the very end of last month. I forgot to mention it last month. It was actually in the show notes and I just missed it. You can get Piku Niku, which is goofy sounding, but I've heard is absolutely fun. And that was actually a day and date release for them. So that is a game that just barely came out. You can get it for free right now on Twitch Prime. It's been reviewed pretty well too. It's supposed to be really cute. It looks like a kid's book. Graphics are fun. It's I think small and short, but a good time. Until February 28th, the last day of this month, you can also get Dear Esther, the Landmark Edition. Dear Esther is a walking sim that is really fun. I actually beat it early or late last year. It's very slow, but it is a lot of fun. Downwell, which is kind of a like 8-bit, maybe if you're feeling really generous, game where you, I believe, fall down a well. It's supposed to be a lot of fun. I've not tried it, but I hear it's good. And The Flame in the Flood, which is we actually played it. I think we played that a little bit at Extra Life this year, I want to say. It's a survival game where you are literally going down a river in a raft and trying to survive. You also get the Drachnet & Co. puzzle collection, which I know absolutely nothing about, except that it is a collection of 3 puzzle games. So, which are the chemistry-focused Sokoban, the building-focused A Good Snowman is Hard to Build, and the frustrating but cute Cosmic Express. So, some puzzle games if that's your jam, free on Twitch Prime. Also on Twitch Prime, you can get Final Fantasy XIV's base game, which is normally $20 for free. And I believe that comes with a free month of the game, but that game does cost a monthly fee if you want to keep playing. It's like $12 or $13 if you only want one character, and $15 if you want to play more than one character. But you can save $20 by getting the game for free. Normally you'd have to pay for that. So if you want to play some Final Fantasy 14 online with other Final Fantasy 14 players, then grab that from Twitch Prime for free as well. This was not the show notes, but it's just because I forgot to add it. Xbox Game Pass is adding a bunch of games this month, as they do. It includes Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is the 3rd game, I think, in the kind of new Lara Croft series. I think that just came out relatively recently, didn't it? Shadow of the Tomb Raider? Is that newish?
I can't keep track of
them. I think I want to say that's the... No, because that game just barely came out. Right?
It is
that game's brand new.
2018 game.
That's the brand new Shadow of the Tomb Raider game. Huh. That's cool. I kind of want to play it. It looked interesting, at least. Crackdown 3, of course. Day and date, brand new Xbox game. I'm very hyped for that game, oddly. I'm excited. I just want to try it. And then you also are getting the first 2 Batman Arkham games, which are Batman Return to Arkham. Let's see. Batman Return to Arkham and... I'm sorry. Blah, blah, blah. You're getting Batman Return to Arkham, which is Batman Arkham Asylum and Batman Arkham City. We were just talking about those. I have not played either of them, so give those a go. It looks like, let's see, what are we else getting? Telltale's The Walking Dead, the complete first season. That might be our next Bite Me DLC Plays game.
I think that would be a fun one.
I think we might do that. That's actually perfect. It comes out February 7th, which is tomorrow. So maybe give that a try. And then the side-scrolling BMX trick game Pumped BMX Pro, which I will almost definitely not be playing. But a lot of...
That's so early 2000s.
Right? Does anyone BMX anymore?
Yes, there is a select group of people who
go BMX guys. Dylan is drinking the orangest drink I've ever seen right now. It looks really good.
I've had orange soda in forever.
Good. Anyway, lots of good games on Game Pass. Again, like we're huge Game Pass boosters just because it's $10 a month and you get a crap ton of great games. So
I was accidentally subscribed to it and paying for it and didn't even know. And then my credit card expired because I got a new credit card and it tried to charge me, and now I need to renew it. So I will do that when Crackdown comes out.
My kid is 11, and when he was, I'm going to say like
I love this story.
4 or 5. We subscribed to Amazon Free Time Unlimited, which is a kind of cool, like if you've got young kids, Free Time Unlimited is great. You buy them a super cheap Amazon tablet and you give them Free Time Unlimited, and they can download an unlimited number of fun picture books to read and like age appropriate little games to play. It's actually a really, and there's, I think you can watch like kids TV shows. It's actually a really cool thing. It's like $3 a month, right? And so a month ago, like I noticed, like I don't even remember how I caught it. Like I don't know if it was like I was looking at a credit card or if it was just like an email ended up somewhere, and I'm like, Free Time Unlimited. That's weird. And my wife had like thought she accidentally subscribed to it. I think was the thing, and we were looking into it, and I'm like, that's strange. Like, yeah, we do. Whatever. We've paid like $3-4 for it. It's been a couple months. I turned it off, and I'm like looking through. I'm like, oh no, they've been billing me $3 a month for the last 7 years. So
that's so
it happens.
In a not
it's not a big deal. It was like $21 a year for, I mean, it's less than $150 over 6 years, but man, check your credit cards, people. Finally, a game that gets billed to my credit card every month as well. The Humble Monthly Bundle
this one
has reset. Good. Yeah. So this would be, these will be the games you get at the first Friday in March, I believe. Correct? Yeah, yes. I think so. This month it is the Earth Defense Force 4.1, which I don't know anything about.
Earth Defense Force is so much fun.
What kind of game is it?
Oh, it is. If this one's anything like I think it is. I had Earth Defense Force 2017, and me and my buddy thought these were the best games ever. You're the Earth Defense Force, so you're a officer tasked with saving the Earth from giant insects.
Nice.
Like giant ants, giant like wasps, giant spiders, whatever it is that are attacking the world. Like you just get big guns and blow them up. It's just ridiculous fun. And that's all it is. It's just fun. Like that's fun.
There is nothing wrong with fun. The next one is the Warhammer Vermintide Collector's Edition. I'm trying to...
A game that I've wanted to actually play.
So this
at some
is the
point,
Collector's Edition. Does this include Vermintide and Vermintide 2? Because it kind of implies that it does, maybe? I'm not 100% sure.
Continue.
I think it's Vermintide 1 and Vermintide 2. Vermintide 2 is a Game Pass game, and I played it, and it was harder than any game I've ever played before.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, which is
me
interesting.
And my brother, who's he's a very talented gamer, and Kevin and one other person played it, and we wiped on the first level like 7 times. But I've heard great things about it. Like I randomly ran into a dude at the grocery store one time who wanted to talk about it and how much fun he was having. So
right.
I don't know. Maybe it's great and we just suck, or maybe we were just missing something important. It looked great. It's very Left 4 Dead-ish. So, if that's your jam and you like Warhammer, that's great. And then the final one is Cultist Simulator. I have heard amazing things about this. It's a CCG game where you collect cards and do stuff. I literally don't know much about it. I follow the creator of this on Twitter, and people seem to absolutely love this game. I'm not a big CCG person, but I might give this a shot just because so many people have talked. And I'm not, maybe CCG, that's probably the wrong word for it, because it's not a collectible card game as much as I think a game where you battle using cards. So it is a game with it's card based in some way.
Too many letters and trying to keep track of them.
I hear Cultist Simulator is really good though. So if those games interest you, you can get all of them for $12. You can subscribe just to this one and cancel at any time. You can skip months. I've done that before. If you go to bytemepodcast.com/humble, you can click through on our Humble Bundle monthly link and we get a few bucks, and that makes me happy because I like a few bucks.
And we like being happy.
If you like Cliff being happy and you like Cliff having a few bucks, go get Humble Bundle. That's all I have to say. This one looks good. And, Humble Bundles are generally good. And you'll get like another, 4 or 5 games in addition to those 3. So pretty good deal for $12. I think that is all. I did play. So last week we talked about a mobile game, and it was called Smashing 4. Did you try it?
I did not try it because I suck. And this week's been just terrible. So
I did try it, and it's actually a lot of fun. The entire game is based on you go in this playing field, and then you'll have a bunch of characters, and you literally like kind of pull back on them, like almost like you pull back and you get a little arrow and you let them go, and they zoom across the thing and bounce into other players. And based on how they bounce, and if you bounce those other players into other of your players, they'll take damage. It's a lot of fun. I played all the way through the tutorial and really liked it. And then I played my first game against other people, because that's how it worked. You get through the tutorial and then you're playing PvP. And I beat the first person I played against, and then I stopped because I wanted to quit with a 100% win record. Felt good about it. Yeah, me too. It's good. Lastly, Troll Corner. Again, I'm putting gamers in there, capital G gamers, because apparently Metro Exodus being released on the Epic Store is such a terrible thing that gamers had to go and review bomb all of their other games on Steam already. So,
wow. Why do you care? Like, why does anyone care?
Just buy it on the Epic Store. Is buying it on the Epic Store really that big of a deal that you would like literally ruin someone else's livelihood and, maybe have people not buy their games because you want to buy it on Steam instead of the Epic Store? Like, y'all suck.
I can't imagine caring that much and needing to rebel in such a way where I could go do something that I enjoy doing.
And I mean, I guess the thing is like people that did this are fans of this game, right? Like, you don't go and do this if you're just ambivalent towards the game, or if you hate it. Like, if you hate it, you might have written a negative review because you just didn't think it was a good game. If you don't care about it, you just don't care about it. So these are people that care enough that they're mad that they can't buy it on the store that they want to buy it on, but are willing to crap all over a game they like because they can't buy it on in the store they want it to. And I just literally do not understand. Literally do not understand. So
I don't get
whatever.
It, but oh well. I guess we don't have to.
But I mean, we were talking about this last week where Epic's like, hey, we're not going to put users reviews up until how we can figure out how to mitigate this problem. And I'm like, well, I don't know if that's a great idea. And then I'm like, well, maybe we just aren't good enough to have nice things like review systems. Maybe we just can't have nice things. Anywho, I'm ready to go to bed now. I think this is the latest we've ever podcasted before.
Pretty tired.
Dylan's going to go to bed. I am going to post this podcast somewhere and then go to bed. Yes. So you can find us at bytemepodcast.com. That's where all of our stuffs happen. You can find us on facebook.com/bytemepodcast, twitter.com/bytemepodcast. Go to bytemepodcast.com/discord, and you can come and talk to me all day while I work. It makes me very happy. If we get some West Coast people that could keep me busy from, say, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. That'd be great. You can go to bytemepodcast.com/humble to see all the cool things that are Humble Bundles right now. And you can, of course, go to patreon.com/bytemepodcast to support us on Patreon. Keep Dylan in that delightful orange beverage he is drinking. That is all. Dylan, whisper us out.
Bite me.
Very good.